I synthesize and rasterize immaterial things that I fabricate for you. For you. Yes, I tessellate and animate these dancing sprites and sunlit skies for you. I do it for you. I'm your GPU. Oh shit. Oh, this is recording? Oh, whoops. Didn't realize the camera was on. What up, fam? So yeah, I'm doing a little addendum, a little extra video in regards to Astro's Playroom. Cause yeah, your boy, I finally did it. I platinumed it. I got all the trophies. All the trophies. I got the platinum trophy. Probably the only time I'll ever get a platinum on anything. But I absolutely love this game. So I had to do it. I had to play it to the fullest extent. What you see before you here is a little screenshot I took of the jungle level. The entire soundtrack of this game. Okay, look up the soundtrack by composer Kenneth C.M. Young. The music is amazing. The music's phenomenal. But I think most people will agree that the best track, the best song, it's called "I'm Your GPU." It's in the jungle level. So go to the jungle level. I think the game makers even realized that this was the best song, because in the jungle level, I found this. You can go into like the secret cave, and if you punch the wall, these glowing lyrics will appear to the song. And this is the only time they do that for any of the songs in the game, and it's great. I love this song. I love the soundtrack. Basically, I mean, it's how do I put it? It's like almost like this like love sonnet. It's like almost like this love song about how you're, the whole I love it. Astro Bot and all these characters in the whole game basically takes place inside of your controller, inside of your PlayStation 5. Okay, it's the whole game and the song itself. They're about the inner workings of your PS5, and the song is basically almost like a love letter saying how your PS5 will it works so hard to make these levels come to life, and your machine is just like humming and whirring and chugging and doing so much work just to make Astro's Playroom work, but it'll do it for you because it loves you or whatever. It's odd. It's oddly like touching and comforting. But yeah, I love this song. That's Astro Bot right there. He is freaking adorable. I love the design of Astro Bot. I mean, if you take a look at him, like he everything about him says PlayStation. You know what I mean? Like his color scheme, his design, his face/head is basically a PSVR headset. You know what I mean? So like that's perfect. And you can't see it in this picture, but he has like this little tiny superhero cape that flows behind him when he runs. Like I love it. Oh, he's so adorable. Yeah, Astro Bot has basically become the unofficial, or basically official at this point, PlayStation 5 mascot. I mean, Astro Bot, the game, won Game of the Year, so like he's on fire now. But yeah, it's interesting. This is such a weird game franchise, such a weird trilogy. It's a trilogy. People don't realize. People are like jumping on now with Astro Bot. It's like, yo, no. Astro's Playroom, okay, the free tech demo that came with your PS5. Yeah, that predates Astro Bot. This was Astro Bot's 2024. This game was 2020, and actually go further back. Go back to 2018. Astro Bot Rescue Mission. That's where he comes from. Actually, even further back, there was like a kind of a tech demo thing for the PS4 called it was just called The Playroom, and I think there were like Astro Bot like sprites in it. So technically, that's where this whole thing started. But his first game was on PSVR in 2018 called Astro's Playroom, or excuse me, Astro Bot Rescue Mission. And that was kind of like the only PSVR game that was worth talking about. But yeah, I don't know. I'm so curious about that game. I'll at least watch like a YouTube playthrough, or like I don't know. I don't know if I got like a PSVR headset, would that, I guess that wouldn't work with my PS5. You have to get like the PSVR 2, which it's such a freaking Sony is so boneheaded sometimes. It's such a fucking layup. Like everyone is like all crazy about Astro Bot right now, right? Because of the new game. It's like just re-release Astro Bot Rescue Mission for PSVR 2. Like make it forwards compatible or something. You know what I mean? Like just make it available. And it's not. It's locked to the PSVR on PS4. So even if you bought the freaking, $550 PSVR 2, guess what? You can't play the one VR game that's worth talking about. You can play the Horizon VR game that people don't like because it's just like 80% climbing. But I digress. Okay, bringing it back. So, but yeah, Astro's Playroom. Same composer, I mentioned him by name, Kenneth C.M. Young. He's fantastic. I mean, I can't wait to play Astro Bot proper, because, again, he comes back for the soundtrack. And that's something I need to mention. Once again, the soundtrack's phenomenal, but, like, how many times can you think of this where it's on the freaking cover? It's on the posters, and it's on the cover for Astro Bot, the game, where it says, featuring music composed by Kenneth C.M. Young, and he deserves that credit. Like, he deserves that mention by name. But, like, that's the only time I can even think of something like this in the gaming sphere, where the composer of a game was mentioned by name. They needed to do. I mean, there are plenty of games with fantastic, phenomenal soundtracks. They need to do this more often, is what I'm saying. But this is the only example I can think of where they just like name the composer right on the box cover, because like the soundtrack is that big of a deal. Even in the movie sphere, it's rare, like unless you're like a freaking like Danny Elfman or something, like it's rare that the composer is even mentioned on the poster of like a movie, you know what I mean? Or for whatever, like maybe with like Tarzan, it was like featuring music by Phil Collins, like it'll say that on the poster. But it's rare to even see that in the movie sphere. In the gaming sphere, it's like unheard of. So that's why it's such a big deal. It's such a big deal that Kenneth got that credit, and I'm glad he got that credit, and I'm glad he got a second chance with Astro Bot, because this game proves that like these are talented people that deserve a real freaking game, not this little demo thing that they made previously. Okay. That being said, what else? Okay, so once again, I need to I need to dispel all these false rumors where people will talk about they all sound the same. Astro's Playroom. People will dismiss it and say like, oh, well, it's just like a packing game. It's just a tech demo. It's just something to fiddle around with while your real game is like downloading from the PlayStation Store. That is such bullshit. I have put all of my games. It's so sad. I've looked up at like YouTube comments and stuff, and like a lot of people will keep saying like, no, like Astro's Playroom is still my favorite PS5 game, like dead ass, like no joke. I mean, it is the best game as far as like game that actually utilizes all the features of the DualSense controller. Well, I'll talk about that in a minute, but because that, as far as that goes, that's like a perfect 10 out of 10. So that's what people mean when they say like, oh, it's a tech demo for the controller. I mean, I wouldn't say tech demo, because again, you're saying that kind of pejoratively, kind of negatively. It is a perfect. So this is what I would say instead. I was trying to think of like the right word. Showcase. It's a great showcase for the DualSense controller. Like I agree with that. But like, don't say it's just a demo, because this is a full. I don't know why people keep saying that. It's a short game. I mean, it's a platformer. Platformers are usually short anyway. But yeah, it's a short game, but it's a game. I don't know what people like demo. Like, what do you I mean. It's funny because they've updated it, so now the game kind of retroactively is like a prelude to Astro Bot, or a demo, if you will, for Astro Bot. So like there's like a whole thing now where it's like you go to like this secret room, and like this whole pop-up thing is like, oh hey, this is after you beat the game, of course, but then it'll be like, hey, would you like to go on Astro's next adventure? And like I'm like, oh sure, and like I step through the portal, and it just takes you to the PlayStation Store to buy Astro Bot. It's like, was this whole game an ad? Was this whole game like a genius, disguised ad? Like, I mean, 10 out of 10 as far as ads go. I don't even want to play. I mean, I do want to play Astro Bot, but I'm just saying, like, no, this game sufficed. Like, this game was enough. Like, I'm satisfied with this. You know what I mean? That's why I completely disregard anything that says like, oh, is a demo, is a tech demo. No, this game is a standalone. This game stands on its own. You don't need to play Astro Bot Rescue Mission. I certainly didn't. I know there are characters and references from that game that appear in this. So, I mean, you'll get your money's worth. I mean, it's so funny to talk about this game, your money's worth. It's a free packing game, but yeah, you'll get your money's worth if you play Astro Bot Rescue Mission first. But it's not required at all. And similarly, I'm sure you could just jump into Astro Bot without playing this game. But why would you? I mean, this game's free. It literally comes pre-installed on your PS5 console. Play this freaking game. Like, don't just fiddle, like, platinum it. Finish it. Complete this game. I beg of you, please. It's crazy because like this game, I mean, it comes, like I said, it comes pre-installed before you even connect to the internet. Once you connect to the internet, it'll update. And there were, as far as I can tell, there were two big like DLCs, two big like updates to the game that added new content. And again, like when can you think of in history where a free demo or a free pack-in game had updates, had DLC. Like, it's so weird. Like, it's so weird, but it makes perfect sense. Okay, so like some of the updates, again, once Astro Bot came out, the game was kind of tweaked to like make it a backdoor pilot or a backdoor demo for Astro Bot to like lead you to Astro Bot on the PlayStation Store. Like I said, I mean, that's fine. That just makes sense. That's cool. That just makes sense. And then the other updates. So they added a time trial mode, and that's keeping in line with like how this is just a level editor to every Sony game ever. But yeah, you remember in Crash Bandicoot how you had to get like the golden and platinum relics by doing like these insane time trials. So yeah, they added time trial levels for Astro Bot to get even more trophies. So yeah, more trophies were added. So that's the funny thing is like even after I platinumed, I got all of the main trophies, like the 40-some trophies from the main packet, and then you get platinum, and the platinum literally says like, oh, you've done everything now. That's not true because it's not counting the DLC. So like even though I got platinum, I like really wanted to do everything. So I went back and I kept playing because there were the time trials. Those were the hardest. Those were like grueling. Like I would like feel so good about myself if like, because the one trophy for all that is like it's complicated. Your combined time has to be under 7 minutes. So like you want to be pretty damn quick. You want to be like under a minute on each level basically. And I would feel so good about myself. I'd get like, 57 seconds. I'm like, oh yes, I'm under a minute. And then you can compare yourself to like the global rankings, and I got immediately humbled. Like I'll be so proud about like the climbing level. I'm like, oh, I got 56 seconds. And then like the top rankings in the world, they got it in like 16 seconds. And you're like, what? How's that even possible? I was like going as fast as possible. There's all these like cheats and secrets and exploits you can do to get like a better time. It's crazy. It's crazy. I watched this one video where the guy, I don't want to get too into it, but like he was doing the climbing level, and it's with the motion controls, and like the way he was doing it, he was gonna like I was worried he was gonna hurt himself or like break his controller, and for me it's not worth it. It's not worth it. I got the trophy. For that's all I wanted is the trophy for the time trial. Like I don't need to place. I don't need to rank globally at the risk of breaking my controller. So like that's fine. But yeah, they added some stuff. Like they added these 4 special bots, and each one is like this like really cool PlayStation reference, and I guess they're kind of like again a prelude to the type of like PlayStation homage bots you'll get in Astro Bot the game. I'll just run through them real quick. So the first one you get, it's a Bloodborne callback. And this is really annoying. So like these 4, there's no shame in cheating. There's no shame in looking these up, guys. There's no shame. Because I like once you find out, you're like, oh, that's bullshit. Like how was I supposed to figure that out? The one with the Bloodborne reference. So you're in the jungle level, okay? The same level here, and you will find like the tiniest clock on this tree stump, okay? And like again, if you don't know what you're looking for, you'll never even see the clock. But you have to hit the clock, okay? And then this menu pops up where you can set the date and time, and then you're just like, what? Like, so you have to understand that this is a Bloodborne reference, and you have to just know the release date of Bloodborne, like what year, what day, what month, and like yeah, like I had to Google it. But like, how would you ever freaking figure that out? I guess like the diehard Bloodborne fans like just know off the top of their head because they've been waiting so long for like another thing in the series. And it's all very tongue in cheek. So I'm actually surprised that like Sony let Team Asobi, that's the developers of this game, Team Asobi. Asobi is Japanese for play, by the way. I looked that up a minute ago, and that made me laugh. Yeah, Team Play, Team Asobi. Anyway. I'm surprised Sony let them get away with this very pointed, this very tongue-in-cheek little reference here, but like everyone, that's the running joke is like, when is Sony going to do something with Bloodborne? Like they're just like sitting on this IP that everyone loves and wants them to do something with, and they haven't done anything with it since 2015. So this is in 2020, Astro Bot did this thing where you unlock this Bloodborne bot, and when you go back to your crib, your hangout, and you can like visit the bot, this Bloodborne guy, he's literally asleep with an alarm clock next to him, and like the implication is like, he'll wake up eventually, like Sony will eventually do something with him, just keep waiting. And that was in 2020. I believe as of right now, as of 2025, we still don't know anything Bloodborne wise, so that didn't quite work. But that was supposed to be a little jab at Sony to like, hey, do something with this cool franchise. Anyway, there's Bloodborne. There's some good deep cuts. There's an Ape Escape reference. The Ape Escape one is so funny because you have to like first you gather like these bananas once you find like the monkey bot, and you give them the banana, and then you have to do this like stupid dance mini game. So like that's fun, and then you unlock the Ape Escape bot. So again, that's like a little nod of like I hope foreshadowing of like, oh, maybe Sony will do something with Ape Escape eventually. Still nothing has come of that either. What's interesting is so the third bot is a Gran Turismo bot. Okay, and what's interesting is again this game came out 2020. It did foreshadow something. So Gran Turismo 7 came out for PS5 in 2022, 2 years after this little nod, this little reference, and I'm like, oh, so this did kind of foreshadow something. So maybe perhaps the other franchises will do something as well. Who knows? But yeah, the Gran Turismo one, it's really cool. You go to the beach level and you have to find this like little map with like this series of arrows, and you don't realize what that means at first. And then you find this like tiny steering wheel, and you have to stand in front of the steering wheel and open up the world map. And if you do it right, you'll hear this little engine humming sound, like, and then you have to move the cursor the same pattern as the arrows you saw earlier. And if you realize, oh, it's like a racetrack, you're doing a race course. And if you do it right, you'll hear like a little sound to indicate that you did it, and then you get the Gran Turismo bot. And then the last one, I didn't get this because like all these other ones were like references to nostalgic Sony franchises, and then the fourth one's weird. So the fourth one, it's a Returnal reference. A game that like had just come out at that time. It's like, oh, okay, I don't know. I don't get that one. Yeah, and the bot doesn't even look like Celine. It's just kind of like generic astronaut. There is like that little shoulder-mounted like light thing and that she has. So I'm like, I was just supposed to pick up on that just from that. I hadn't played Returnal at that point, so I totally didn't get that reference. I had to like look that up, and I still didn't really get it. But yeah, you go to the space level. And it's very, again, like if you don't look it up, you're never gonna get it. But like you have to go to this very specific spot, and there's like a little tiny astronaut doll. You stand on top of it. Then you have to get shot. You have to die on purpose on top of that doll, and then when you respawn, you'll get the bot, the Celine bot. And I'm like, how the F would you ever figure that? Like you wouldn't. So that's odd. I guess that makes sense because like Returnal had just come out, so they wanted to just kind of like promote that. But like I don't know. That's just weird. That like three of them would be like, hey, remember this franchise? And then the fourth one's like, yeah, so this game just came out. It's like, oh, okay. I don't know. Is there gonna be a Returnal 2 soon? Like I don't know what that was. Anyway, but yeah. I mean, Astro's Playroom. The graphics are phenomenal. The soundtrack is phenomenal. It's free. I mean, if we're talking like best bang for your buck, like holy shit, like I said, there's plenty to do. Like you can spend hours and hours just like getting all of the collectibles, like doing everything. That's the other thing. It's like this is what like so many games don't get right. Like have the collectibles mean something. So like in Mario, it's like you're collecting all of these coins, and then if you if you get 100, you'll get an extra life. So there is that incentive, but like other than that, it's like you can just collect coins if you want to. In Astro Bot, you're collecting coins, and the coins actually matter. They're currency for this gacha game. It's not even like an in-game shop, which I'd accept that too, but like no, it's cooler than that. You insert the coins into this gacha machine where you can you have a random chance to get a new artifact. So the coins matter. So there is actually incentive for once to collect the coins that are on the ground. So like that's cool. That's really cool. But yeah, the artifacts you can get. So that's another incentive. Is like I wanted to 100% complete this game because I wanted to find all the artifacts. Like it's crazy. It's like I said before. It's like in Pikmin. Like you'll get this like really cool 3D model. You can zoom in and zoom out, and you can even interact with it sometimes. You can press like buttons on it and like it'll do stuff. And it taught me so many things that I didn't even know existed. Like I didn't know, for example, like the PSP had like a freaking GPS like peripheral. You could have like GPS tracking on your PSP. You could get like a microphone. Like all this shit that I never even knew about. Like, I didn't know about like the PlayStation Move controller peripherals. You could get like a gun one, you could get like a sniper rifle attachment, like all this really cool shit like I just didn't know about. So it is like a crash course, history course on like, you know, PlayStation history, and it's really cool. Like, it's fun, but it's that rare case where I'm having tons of fun with your game, and I'm also kind of learning something without it like beating you over the head with it. But like, it is a history course on, yeah, you know, Sony's legacy, Sony games and their legacy. But yeah, what else? The game, like I said, it's not super long. There's 4 main levels, and then there's like this kind of hub area, but there's like secret puzzle pieces to find in there as well. You can get all the puzzle pieces to like unlock this really cool mural in your hangout space. And you can also like you get these like cool little diorama things with like these little robots, and like that will add furniture and stuff to your base as well. So like, you're always unlocking something when you play the gacha game. It's just, it might not be an artifact per se, but you're always getting something cool. So the game doesn't waste your time. Like, you always feel like you're heading towards something, some sort of completion bonus or something. You know what I mean? Like, it's so fun. It's just pure unadulterated fun. So yeah, let's bring up the controller real quick. So, like I said, so the whole thing with the game, and this started in Astro Bot Rescue Mission. Like, Astro lived inside your PS4 controller. Now he lives inside your PS5 controller. So when the level starts, you'll have the trackpad, and he'll be like sitting on top of your controller. And when you tilt the controller, like it'll move the same exact way on screen. But Astro will be like right here, and you'll just kind of flick him with your thumb, and he'll pop out, and that's how you start the game. And like, there's all of these levels where he gets different suits with different abilities. So like, maybe, you know, it depends. So like, there's the ball level where you have to, okay. So like, I love it. You get inside the suit and you flick your finger on the trackpad to zip up the suit. Like, just like little touches like that I love so much. You know what I mean? It just immerses you. But yeah, you're in the ball suit, and you have to carefully roll by, you know, sliding your thumb across the trackpad, and you stop. You can click the trackpad to like stop him dead in his tracks, and you can stop on a dime. Like, the movement is really good in those levels. The other one, there's the spaceship level where you're blasting off with the booster, you know, L2 and R2 to blast off, and you're steering with the controller. You're steering him left and right, so that's really cool. What else? You also have the monkey. These are my favorite. My favorite levels are the monkey climbing stages. So basically, like, it's hard to explain. You kind of have to do it, but like you're climbing, you know, left hand, right hand. And you have to tilt the controller each time, like to keep climbing. You know what I mean? And there's even parts where, this is why the controller is so good. So the buttons are so sensitive. You can press it down, but you can do like kind of like a half press, and the game will register that. So there's times where there are like broken rocks where if you grab them normally, they'll break and you'll fall. So you have to do like a very careful half press, and he'll like lightly grasp the rock. You know what I mean? And especially if you're like going fast, or if you're doing the time trial level, it's so hard to like, you know, press. I have to remember to half press here and then continue. You know, and you're doing it all so fast, but you know, it's so crazy. It's so crazy. But my second favorite, besides the monkey levels, there's the frog suit. The frog suit's crazy too, because you have to like coil yourself by pressing the buttons, and then release to like hop, and you also have to like tilt the controller in the direction you want to hop. But like, where it gets really nuts, like I picked up some strategies on YouTube. The way people do it so fast in the time trial level, you basically cheat. Like, so you can coil up and let go of the spring, and you can hold down for a few seconds to like really charge up your spring. Okay, so here's what you do. So you coil, you charge, you spring, and basically you're gonna be alternating the whole level. You're gonna while he's airborne, you press down and you charge your spring while he's airborne, so that the second that he lands, you release and he flies. You're cheating basically. You're charging for free while you're in the air, so you can just kind of keep on. You can keep that momentum of a fully charged spring the whole level. It's crazy. When you do it right, it's just insane how fast your time becomes. You like cut the time in half or more. But yeah, so let's see. Complaints, not too many. It's a little annoying how, again, this game is like supposed to be short, supposed to be like whatever, a tech demo. It's a little annoying how you only have one hit and you instantly die, but you respawn right away, and there aren't lives per se, so like it's not that big of a deal. It's only like a temporary setback when you do die, but it is a little annoying how you'll die from just one hit. And then enemies, I don't know. Maybe people wouldn't have liked it if they had HP, but like I feel like the enemies are a little too easy. Outside of like the bosses, like the main enemies, they all go down in one hit, and so they always just felt a little too easy for me. I wish there were some that like were a little sturdier, like it took a couple more hits, or like need a little more strategy. The game in general, it is kind of easy outside of the boss battles, which can be kind of difficult. Like the bosses do take a couple hits, and you have to be crafty. The final boss, it's a perfect throwback to I guess the original tech demo for the PlayStation 1 was like this polygonal Tyrannosaurus. So like you have to fight that, and like so that's again perfect callback, perfect stroll down memory lane of like PlayStation history, the first animated PlayStation thing on PS1, right? So you fight that, and it has different forms, and so you fight that as like with like PS1 graphics, and then you get to fight like the HD PS5 version of that dinosaur. It's so cool. It's so cool. It's like the perfect boss battle. So like a perfect way to end the game. And then the end credits. I always love when like they make a mini game out of the credits, so you can like punch the credits, and like certain letters are like glowing gold, and you can punch them to get like bonus coins. So there's like a little mini game inside of that. So that's really cool. I love it when they do that. Yeah, from start to finish, this was just like fucking great. It was just perfect. I loved it. And for the price point for a free game, the fact that it has like also free updates, like holy shit, you are a fool. If you have a PS5, like this is like my first must play. I mean, and currently it's my favorite. Obviously, I haven't played that many games, but like for the system, but like it's currently my favorite game for PS5, obviously. But it's my first must play that I'd say, like, if you have a PS5, obviously you have the game because it came with the system. Play it, and don't just play it, complete it. This game deserves to be played to its completion, because so much love and care and respect for the Sony legacy went into this game, and you have to you owe it to yourself to experience it and play it, and just it's a freaking blast, man. And then if you want more, either go back and somehow get Rescue Mission for VR, or just get the Astro Bot game for PS5. You know what I mean? But yeah, I really can't think of any. Again, I wish it was a little longer. I wish it was a little more difficult. But yeah, I really have no other complaints. It's perfect. Like, it's a perfect game. I mean, especially inside of like its own subgenre of like tech demo freebie games. Like it's the gold standards. It's perfect. Like it's the game that other such games should aspire to be. You know what I mean? Yeah, I love Astro Bot the character. Like, I really do hope he becomes like a staple, like an iconic, the same way that Jak and Daxter or Ratchet and Clank were back in the day for PS2. I hope Astro Bot is like the PS5 mascot. Like, he deserves it. So yeah, I cannot recommend this game any more highly, especially as far as games that like actually take advantage of all of the DualSense controller's features. Yeah, there's the rumble, there's the haptic feedback, like the perfect precision, like as far as the triggers. There's the trackpad usage. There's the motion controls. They actually use the microphone. What else? Oh yeah. I almost forgot. I can't believe I almost forgot. One of my favorite moments in this game. Again, this is why you have to experience this game firsthand. This controller is so good. So there's a level where it's like windy something, like it's a very windy level, and you hear the wind blowing through the microphone on your controller. But what really got me was deeper into the level, it'll start to rain, and this little umbrella pops up on Astro Bot's head, and it's adorable. And you'll hear like the soft like pitter patter of rain on your controller, and then as the storm gets worse, like you hear the rain intensify. Like it's so subtle, but it's so perfect, and it immersed me in that level to a degree that I normally am not immersed in the game. Like it's perfect. It was so freaking well done. So guys, please, this is my plea. This is my one thing that I ask of all PS5 owners. Please play this game to 100% completion. It's worth your time. It's worth it. Get the platinum. It's not even an easy platinum. It's actually kind of hard to get some of these trophies, but you owe it to yourself. Please play this game. Please play all aspects of this game. Please see everything this game has to offer. So yeah, next game